This is the MeatEater podcast coming at you shirtless, severely bug-bitten, and in my case, underwearless.
We hunt the MeatEater podcast.
You can't predict anything.
The MeatEater podcast is brought to you by First Light. Whether you're checking trail cams, hanging deer stands, or scouting for elk, First Light has performance apparel to support every hunter in every environment. Check it out at firstlight.com. FIRSTLITE.com. Joined today by big-time mule deer hunters Aina, Mabel, Hattie, and Rosemary. Welcome, girls.
Hi.
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 You guys mind hitting everybody? What you guys are still the age where people always ask you. Do people always ask you how old you guys are, Aina?
Sometimes.
It's pretty common. I met a kid last night. I asked him what grade he was in. Then he kind of laughed about it, and I said, I don't actually care what grade you're in. I was just trying to make small talk. What grade are you in?
8th grade.
Okay. Mabel?
5th grade.
Okay. Hattie?
7th grade.
All right. Rosie?
6th grade.
Great.
Well, you should know that.
I know I know that you're in the middle school. Which when I was growing up, it was junior high, but hereabouts it's middle school. You guys have all been hunting. Mabel's your first year hunting in the state, in your state that you live in. You need to be how old to start hunting?
10.
How old are you?
10.
Okay. And then you can hunt how many years in Montana with your parents, with your dad, before you need to go do hunter's safety? It's a quiz show, Mabel.
I have no idea. Like 13?
No,
12?
you can't hunt 13 years with your dad.
12?
You can hunt 2 years as a mentor, as a mentee.
So this is my last year or next
It's
year?
your first year.
Okay. But I hunt squirrels with you.
Yeah, this is where it gets complicated.
Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, you don't need, in Montana, you don't need a hunting license or be any sort of age to hunt squirrels, rabbits, what else? Coyotes.
Any non-game animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can hunt in our state, and every state's different. In our state, you can begin hunting at 10 for game animals, like let's say deer. You can begin hunting deer at 10. And you can also hunt for 2 years with a mentor before you have to take hunter safety. You just happen to start your mentored hunting at the age of 10, but let's say you never hunted until you were 12. You could still do 2 years with a mentor before you had to do hunter safety. But since you kids all started at the bottom end of the age bracket, you can hunt 2 years with your dad, and then you got to do hunter safety.
So we'd have to do it when we're 12.
You'll have, and Aina, you've done hunter safety.
Yep.
How'd that go?
It was pretty good. It took a while, but I got through it.
You cheated the system a little bit. Can you explain that to people?
She doesn't look at it that way.
Explain how you. I look at it like you cheated the system, but Rosie's gonna cheat the system.
I am. Really?
You gotta do it this year.
He just wants to know
Idaho?
how you did it without doing a field day, I think.
There's
Or without
virtual field days where you go around and they like show you a video of how it would work, and then you say like, "Oh, this is wrong," and there's no really right or wrong answer.
It's a virtual field day.
Yeah, so you don't really get quizzed in that part. It's just kind of like you pick an answer. You don't have to, and there's a video that says if you're right or wrong. But some people probably don't care about that and just skip through the entire thing because there's like 3 seconds on all the videos that are like 5 minutes long.
I don't know if you do. Do you think you'd be able to skip it all and still pass?
No.
We
There's
heard a
some really
first-hand
random things.
story
Did you hear my story?
of my buddy, another buddy, Steven, whose daughter was just watching funny cat videos because you know how they put the little timer on there, right? So
Yeah.
you can't just click all the way through. And then she went to take the test and she failed. She had to do the whole thing again.
My boy.
Funny cat videos.
You guys.
Gotta love those.
You guys know, of course, and hunt with James. When James had to do when he had to do his archery certificate, okay? He did a hunter safety where you go do the actual, not virtual field day, but the actual field day. He needs to go get his archery certificate. And he comes in, and it's all online, and he comes in and tells me that he failed the archery certification thing by like a point. And I'm livid. So I sit down with him and do it, and me and him fail. And then I'm like, maybe we really have to go look at the stuff because it's so poorly written that it's like it has stuff like, what is a piece of archery equipment you can do without? Stabilizer, finger tabs. It was, and you're like, well, that's so subjective. It was like, what's the best cookie? Right. And they're like, nope, wrong. And a question about how long should you wait before you start blood trailing? Right? But it's not it's sort of, you just got to go with what was in the thing. Mm-hmm. It's a bad experience.
Yeah, they're not giving you a lot of context around those questions.
Yeah. So, Mabel, you got it done. Hattie, have you had to do hunter safety yet?
I already did it, yeah.
Did you do the virtual or real field day?
The real field day.
You did? What happened down there?
You kind of got showed around, and then you practiced different shooting positions on clay birdies, and then you practiced using a shotgun, and then you went through a bunch of other things like passing through a barbed wire fence and practicing all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you throw your gun over and then climb through?
Yeah.
Was it boring though?
It was kind of boring and it dragged on, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm. When your dad, Hattie's my neighbor. I'm buddies with her dad. When your dad learned that you were come down here, what did he ask you not to talk about? Do you remember? Her dad wanted her not to talk about. Her dad wanted her not to talk about how he had to curse at her during hunting season this year.
Sorry, Dad.
It was the heat of the moment, though, wasn't it?
Sorry,
It
Pat.
was.
Yeah, your dad got emotional during the heat of the moment.
Yeah, I was
He was there to get some deer killed.
and I was sitting right 50 yards from a buck, and I was just out in the open, anything could see me, and a deer was 50 yards behind me.
And he had some strong words for you.
Well, he just said, "Get down," and yelled at me, but that was about it.
And he wanted you to keep quiet about that.
Yeah, but you just brought it up.
I've been training you guys up. Rosie, tell everybody where you hunt.
Where the deer are.
No, more. Yeah, and then I'm a guy now. I'm prying you on it. Like more specifically, what river? River do you hunt on?
No, where Nunya where Nunya River flows into Business Creek.
That's right. Well, it's Nunya Creek flows into Business River, but
Same thing.
Hattie, you had your school counselor was trying to pry some info out of you.
Yeah, but he was just asking where it was.
It sounds he was asking a bit much. I felt.
Well, he just
You weren't there.
he asked. Well, he just asked a lot of questions over and over again. He asked if we drove up there, and I said yes. And then he asked if we went on a boat down the river, and I said no.
Yeah, because we were hunting the park.
Yeah, we drove up to Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like,
tell them we hunt right in the park.
We hunt right in the park where the rangers don't.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you, Mabel's your dad schooled you on this kind of thing?
I mean, yeah, you definitely sat us down, and we.
Around the campfire, you had a big meeting about this. Have you guys been pried yet for any location information?
No, I mean, my teacher, he was like, so where you go hunting? And I was like, I honestly have no idea because it was my first year and I actually didn't know where we went. So that was pretty fair. But then if somebody asked me now, I'd just be like either I don't know or we go somewhere different every year or I just do the joke Rosie did.
I know, but I like the one better where you say where the deer are and where the deer are. Where are the deer? Where the deer are. You know?
Deer camp.
Yeah, deer camp.
Deer camp.
We go to deer camp.
We just drive the highway till we see one of those signs that shows the deer crossing the road, and then
We wait there, and then when one comes and crosses the road, we just get that one.
Do you guys feel that Aina and Mabel? Do you guys feel that if your dad quit hunting right now, do you feel like you'd keep it going, or you feel like you'd quit too?
I'd probably keep going.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of really fun benefits.
They actually have an opportunity this weekend. Jennifer and I went for a walk looking for pronghorn yesterday. Only day we have for her tag, and didn't happen. We didn't see a single one. And But this weekend, season's still open. I'm gone, but these girls might go and sort of kind of guide and try to help their mom get on a pronghorn.
Really?
With
I
no
want to have
dad.
pronghorn
That's
so bad.
Same.
Seth's wife Kelsey went out by herself and got one, and then she had like a dolly cart, like the kind of dolly you use to carry boxes around in a store.
She was carrying it on one of those.
She had it tied to a dolly cart.
Brilliant.
No, she sent me a picture where it was tied to a dolly cart.
Dad,
like
when am I?
like a stack of cardboard boxes.
Those dolly carts aren't light.
No. I mean, I got to pull it up and take a look. I'll show you.
Dad, when am I allowed to go antelope hunting?
Well, I think you got to be 12. Yeah, you got to be 12.
Yeah.
In this state, you got to be 12.
It's pronghorn.
So, Corey, how old are your youngsters?
I have one 6-year-old boy.
And you taking all this in?
I am. Yeah. I'm loving hearing you guys and hearing how excited your kids are to be out there because I'm pumped. I got 4 more years.
Yeah. So the way it works is because we can do youth season. Our youth season this year was, well, every year our youth season in Montana is 2 days long. Depending on the calendar, we had a couple years where they kind of line it up with some days like when teachers are off.
Beautiful. Good.
So they don't have to miss as much school. They still got to play a little hooky, but not as much hooky as they would have to otherwise. And then for the last couple of years, though, the youth season lined up with general.
The 2 days
so we
before.
we could just roll right into general. And we've had good luck killing bucks like in the general season because you can work the kinks out for the 2-day youth season.
Because youth season is Thursday, Friday, and then general would open on Saturday.
But this year they separated again. Now they're separate by a week. And so we had our youth season this year was 2 days long.
Yeah, you guys were youth hunting during archery season.
Yeah, it was so off that it was.
It was.
We even saw, there was people bow hunting while we were youth hunting. But we got our crew. We had 6 hunters. And how many bucks did we get, guys?
6.
6.
That's 100%.
About 1 o'clock on day 2.
Everybody, most people got a buck at around that time.
It was
I got back.
all 4 of you girls killed bucks within like 10 minutes.
I know, but me and
yeah.
Mabel's were the biggest ones.
I got the award for the smallest one.
You got the smallest buck.
Hey,
I got smallest buck.
Hey, I got a question for you, Hattie. You went out, so you got your first buck last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got a mule deer buck last year. Or no, what'd you get last year? You got a whitetail buck last year.
I got a mule deer.
You got a mule deer buck. You got a mule deer buck last year. This year, I want to get into your head a little bit on this. This year, you went on the first day of the season. My understanding is you passed up a forky.
Mm-hmm. Because there was a big buck at the top of the hill, and I wanted that one over a forky.
That's what was going on. Okay. Mm-hmm. The second day, you came in with a
Forky.
Okay, walk me through what happened there. Like, walk me through your mind, your thought process.
The first day that I passed it up.
Both, the evolution of your thoughts.
Oh, well, my dad and I were glassing, and we looked, and there was like a huge buck at the top of this spot. And I don't know what it's called, and then I was like, let's go up there, and he probably just bedded down in that shady ravine kind of spot.
Yeah, you can say that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we were hiking up the hill, and my dad tells me to sit down because he thought he saw a bunch of does that I think we flushed.
But
I
he
don't
didn't
know.
curse at you.
No.
He just told you to sit.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
And then and he came down to me and was like, there's a buck right there. And I was like, is it a forky? And he said, yeah. And then it came broadside for a minute. So I had I didn't have 5 minutes to think about shooting it or not. I'd right then and there shoot it.
Got it.
And I passed it up because I felt really rushed and I didn't have enough time and I wasn't in the good position.
Understood.
And I really wanted to get the huge buck we saw on the top of the hill.
Totally understood.
What makes you want to kill a big, huge buck?
For the fun of it. I don't know.
Show that counselor, huh? Look at that bad boy. All right. So then the next day you go out and your thought changed.
Mm-hmm,
Because by this point, it was the
last
second day of
so.
youth season.
Yeah, and I was like, I wasn't going to be picky because then I saw other people shot forkies. So I would have been fine if I shot one because other kids got one.
Yep.
So then I also said, like, first thing in the morning, I'm not going to be picky. So if I see a buck, I'll shoot it.
There you go. Yeah.
I think it would be okay, even if everybody else killed 3-pointers and you killed a forky, it'd still be okay.
As long as you got a deer.
That's right. Yeah. They all taste the same.
Mabel, you got your first buck.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about that buck. How big was that buck?
He was a 4x4.
Corey perked right up there. Now Corey's
That's what I'm looking
now
for.
Corey's wondering where you were hunting.
Oh, I know. Right where you
4x4.
were.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell what happened there.
I mean, I don't know. My dad, we like army crawled on our like on our hands and knees for
Well,
like.
something must have happened before that. You wouldn't just be crawling out of camp.
Well, we took off from camp and we were just hiking for I don't know like.
Ever.
Yeah, a long time. And then I feel like my dad, he just sees he sees some does like on the top of the ridge, kind of up there.
Uh-huh.
They were like on a ridge, a finger that was coming down into like this valley, hilly sort of place. And so we just we were just sitting down and glassing for a minute. And then we decided, well, let's like get a little bit closer to the does so that if a buck pops up over there, then we can be ready and be able to be like set up on the does so that if a buck is with them, then we can get that.
I gotta bring your sister into this a little bit because you guys are together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you two are hunting with your dad. You guys are hunting as a 3-pack.
Yeah.
Have you two at this point? Because you see these does, but you guys are both packing guns, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you guys at this point? How have you guys determined like who's up, who's first?
I got the first shot for the first day, and so we decided that it'd be better if she got the shot for the second day.
Why would you get the first shot for the first day? Because you've already hunted and
I'm
killed
older.
deer. Huh.
Yeah.
This was your idea.
No,
Yeah.
you guys should explain this because
Well,
people are going to wonder.
We also kind of agreed that I have gotten 2 turkeys and more squirrels than her, so she should get the buckshot.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how that works, but we decided that. And then like the first day, we were just kind of all hunting together, and because we were all together, and she had her shot and stuff. And then
she had an opportunity.
Yeah, she had an opportunity, and then she was just dry firing a little bit, and
the buck slipped away.
Yeah, the buck. It wasn't spooked by us, but it just slipped away.
I know when you were dry firing, I mean you were getting ready for the shot.
Yeah.
That's a good trick,
Just
isn't
getting
it?
comfortable.
Yeah, it's a really good trick when you can afford
I
to
just
do
get
it.
so shaky.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but then second day we decided it would be mine because
you stacked up all those turkeys.
And yeah, I guess. But yeah, I had the shot second day, and well,
so we were on our way to try to get near those does, and then we actually got on those does.
Yeah,
really
so
close.
We were on the does, and I was set up, and my sister was like behind a sagebrush bush, and then we saw on the ridgeline 2 bucks, a 4x4 and a 2x3 on the ridgeline, and they were coming down. Well, first they were just like looking around in the valley searching for like danger, so we just stayed really, really still.
Yep.
And then they were just like I guess they decided they were gonna come down into the valley, so we decided we should like go around the hill like behind it so that no deer saw us and nothing would be like spooked. So we were just army crawling like up to the next hill or maybe next.
Mm-hmm. Were you army crawling?
I mean, I don't know. I was kind of crawling on my knees because, well,
as long as you kept lower than him, that doesn't matter.
I mean, I am lower than him because I'm just like smaller human. But I did try to do on my feet, and it was just like I don't know what to call that, like
waddling.
crouching.
Yeah, it's like walking in a squat position, which is the classic thing that everybody likes to do when you tell them we're crawling now, stay low.
They don't want to crawl.
And
It's harder.
I don't know why.
It's harder to squat because then you just want to stand up, and it's easier to just stand up.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I was still lower than my dad, so.
Did you have to watch out for cactus?
Oh,
Oh yes. Oh, there's
dude, we're
a
still
lot of
picking
cactuses.
cactus thorns out, man.
It's bad. There's a lot of cactuses.
Lots of cactus in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part of the park full of cactus. Okay, so go on.
So we were army crawling for a while, and then we like kind of came up around like a hill, and there was like sagebrush around us. My dad tried to help me get some grass out of the way of my my shooting.
Your shooting lane.
Yeah, my shooting lane. And we were both set up. I was like up high, a little bit higher on the hill. My dad was between us, and then my sister was a little bit lower on the hill. And there was like a road going by us, like on the other side of the hill. And then, we're just watching the bucks. I could not find the bucks anywhere because my dad said, oh, they're at the tip of the sagebrush. And I was like, well, there's a lot of sagebrush here. I didn't say this, but I was like, there's a lot of sagebrush here. I have no idea which sagebrush you're talking about. And then finally he had to just look into my gun for me, find them, and then hold the gun for me so I could get behind it.
Figure out where they were at.
Yeah. And my sister had actually called the bigger buck, which was the 4x4. But because I guess the bigger buck had been doing a lot more broadside, like standing broadside, a lot more than the 2x3, my sister, because she's so nice, decided to give me the bigger one because
that true,
he was
Aina?
just.
I was like, let's just get this over with. So if they run away, I'll feel even worse.
And
That's
then
very nice.
so I was set up on the bigger one, and on the road beside us, like I guess a group of cows had been like walking.
Moo cows.
And and they were like going over the hill. But then they were all staring at us the entire time.
They were loud.
And I was so scared that the bucks were going to look at the cows and then try and look at us. And that was like the cows were just staring at us the entire time. But then it was, I guess, easy to forget about them because then I'm just like looking at the bucks. But then I, took my shot, and I think I shot mine dead. I moved away from the scope, like, after I shot, so I had no idea where my buck was, because I still didn't know where on the hillside my buck actually was.
Yeah.
I just I knew that in the scope, that was my buck. So I had shot him, and I shot him dead, and then he rolled down the hill somewhere. We actually did have a little bit of a hard time finding him later, but like maybe 5 seconds after my shot, Aina shot. Her shot was a little bit low because my dad's rangefinder had lost all of its battery.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tech reliant.
Amateur.
yeah.
Tech reliant didn't fresh his battery.
But yeah, like we shot like 2 seconds after each other. Yeah. And then maybe 2 minutes later, I think Aina shot again to shoot hers, and I got the glory of watching hers fall down the hill. Very
awesome, man.
Oddly.
You kids are Latvian too, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys, when you're telling stories, when the gun goes off, do you go blouch like the Latvians?
No.
Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew that.
And if you're a Latvian in a Latvian hunting story, a gun doesn't go bang or pew. It goes blouch.
I mean, my dad has that written on his orange
Sure,
vest.
man. We used to have a lot of laughs about that. Blouch.
Yeah, but I guess I have never said that in a story.
Can you start, please?
Wait, what? Oh, okay.
In the
I
future.
don't know.
In
Sure.
the future.
But yeah, Aina shot, and then we just stood there for a minute. My dad slapped us on the back a lot because that's kind of what he does when we kill animals. And then I don't know, we got up and got all our stuff. We had actually left our backpacks kind of back there, like where we had been set up on the does. So we had to go back and get those because, army crawling is kind of hard with also like a big backpack on.
Sure.
And my backpack is blue, which I'm pretty sure is a color that the deer can see, and it's like a bright blue. So,
So you
I left that behind, yeah. But then we went and grabbed those, and then we were just walking up the hill to find our bucks. Aina's was found pretty easily because, like me and my dad both saw that one fall down. But mine was a little bit higher up, so I had to look for that one a little bit. But yeah, we found him in the end, and then we butchered him. And
we're going to come back to
Took
the
him back
butchering.
out.
We're going to come back to the
All
butchering
right.
part. Trust me.
so, yeah.
Okay, Rosie, can we move in? You know what we've been teasing Rosie about? Sit up, buddy, so you're by your mic, okay?
Okay.
We've been teasing Rosie. We periodically remember this and then tease her about it for a few days. When she was real little.
Oh, no.
When she was real little, we were out squirrel hunting. And all of a sudden I look and she's little. Oh man, like 3? I don't know.
Yeah, you better include that part in the story.
And she's back there.
You weren't carrying a 22
No, she
yet.
was just cruising along behind us, and we now and then look to see what happened to her, and she's back there going spitting something out. And she had found some deer shit and thought it was like a little chocolate.
No.
I thought that was only a joke. That happened in real life.
Yeah, it's an old guy trick.
She thought it was like a little chocolate nugget or something on the ground.
Milk duds.
And we're like, "What happened, Rosie? What is that?" And she had found that deer poop and was like, "Ooh, someone dropped their candy."
Drop their raisinets.
Milk duds.
So never remember that. We tease Rosie about it. So Rosie, this is your second buck, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then you got your first buck last year, but not during youth season.
Nope.
What happened during youth season?
What did happen during the Oh, okay. So, Jimmy, my older brother, had shot a doe. And my dad pinky promised me that the next deer that we got in this mystery place that we were hunting would be mine. The next deer that we saw, like the next deer that we could get, it's mine.
Yeah, you were up.
And there's
That was the Rinella family's last mule deer doe. We now are on there's a moratorium on mule deer doe killing in the Rinella household.
So after Jimmy shot his doe, we went and started looking, and we got down in this little area to glass, and there was quite a bit of fossils in this area, and I was a little more interested in the fossils than the deer.
And I was very pissed.
He was not happy with me. He was like, Rosie, get over here.
Can I give my perspective on this a little bit?
Yes, you may.
The fossils were in the worst skylit part of the day. So I'm trying to train them to, when you get to a crest, we slip over very quickly, over the top, nestle into some brush and glass. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over. And I, over the top, nestle into some brush. And these two get right up on the skyline, and then lo and behold, fossils.
So we found
And I get down, I'm like, are we here to hunt? I did the whole thing. Yell and whisper. We're here to hunt. Are we here to right?
Yeah, and I said, he was like, okay, well, if there's a deer that comes by, it's your fault. I'm not going to feel sorry for you. Like, you can, he's like, fine, go look at the fossils. Because I had seen this one in particular fossil that I stupidly didn't pick up, and then I wanted to find it again. But right as me and my brother are on the skyline looking for fossils, a humongous 4x4 pops right up in this little, like, gully.
Staring at your
Yeah,
asses.
like how many yards away? Like
100 yards.
Staring
at you.
So big. And, well, the whole thing happens when my dad's like, get over here. So we get set up on it, and he's already gone by that point.
Yep.
He was not having any of it. And then my dad's all mad, and I'm like, well, we could go find it again. And he's like, we're not going to find that thing again. So we start hiking up
We started tracking it.
Okay, yes, we started tracking it. And in front of us, probably like, how many yards then? Like 300 yards maybe?
No, it's just like,
3.
I mean, he just got up at our feet.
Well, yeah.
We followed him.
I thought it was pretty far away.
And then when he jumped up, and I said, get him, Jimmy.
Yeah, I thought he was far away.
No, he was like under us.
Well, he like popped out of nowhere, and my brother just takes out his rifle and just shoots him. And
that was your buck.
He wasn't broadside or anything. He just like shot him in the neck and got him. And I was not happy. I was not happy with my dad. I was giving everybody the silent treatment because that big buck was supposed to be mine.
Yeah.
So I was waiting in this little side of a little mountain. And while they tried to find this deer, 30 minutes later, they're like, we cannot find it. We need your help. We're going to go look. So we blood trail it, and we find it, and it's dead, and it's really big. And I am still not very happy. But yeah, so
I
that
always
was.
say it's not youth deer season until someone cries.
Hey, that is not. And so yeah, he got that, and then I learned to be happy for him because he was really happy. He got a really nice buck. Then I ended up getting one. I don't even know where I ended up getting one, what that place was called.
Yeah.
Our friends.
Our friend's ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a nice 3x3 there, but
Then this year came around.
yeah. Am I supposed to tell the story of this year?
You tell it. I'll tee it up a little bit. We went up. We got to our looking knob.
Wait, I'm not allowed to tell it?
No, I'm just setting the scene.
All right.
You can tell it. We got to our looking knob.
And we see these two. Wait, where are we starting from in this story? Like, after I spotted the
There was
two
the party meadow.
Oh, okay. So we had been chasing these two deer, and we got up on a skyline, and they were there, but they were like far away. I wasn't zoomed in. I was not ready to shoot it at all. So they ended up running away, and then all of a sudden, deer started coming out of nowhere.
Well,
but
you
they
know
were
what we now
everywhere.
know. You know what spooked them
What?
was the
Oh, yeah.
Putelis girls shooting.
Yeah, you guys shooting scared the
Oh,
deer.
really?
And they didn't even know where the shots came from. We were watching them, and all of a sudden you go, and they just got up, like the does got up, and we're looking over, and they just started milling around and milled off. It was enough to, yeah.
They were. I mean, if I was,
she got up and she just like it was a ricochet sound, and she just got uneasy and wanted to leave. You know.
But yeah. So I had one of the bucks in my scope, but like I wasn't zoomed in. I just wasn't ready. Then they got spooked, and deer were coming out of nowhere, but they were everywhere. Like there was bucks just like, almost seemed like they were running out of the hills.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. And they all ran into this one little meadow that we called the party meadow because all of the big bucks were having a party there. So we end up starting to follow we go on the side of this little mountain.
No, Rosie.
What?
We watched 4 bucks.
Okay.
One
that's
had
what
a
I
name.
said.
What was the one's name?
Okay, one of the ones' name was Houdini.
Mm-hmm. And there was 3 bucks that we didn't name. And we watched them until they bed down.
Okay.
Right?
So there's a bunch of bucks
And
in the party
then
meadow.
we did what? When
They
they bedded
bedded
down,
down.
and what did we do?
We walked.
Well, no, not before we what?
I don't.
We identified what our shooting perch was going to
Oh, okay, yeah. So from this ridge line, we found a good place to get set up on them.
be. We knew where we had 3 bucks bedded, and we knew what our shooting perch was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we even like dropped little pins on the map. We think they're there. We're trying to get here.
Yeah. So
And then we started walking.
now we start walking
Mhm.
on this little side of the mountain where the deer can't see us. And I end up finding a deer shed. And we see this really, really old doe just like bedded down in this nice little shady area.
Yeah, don't tell everybody what we called her.
Oh, yeah. Whoops.
No, you didn't tell anybody.
I know, but I almost did. Well,
Call
I didn't
her the
almost.
old.
I didn't almost, but like, you know. So we see this really old doe, and we're like worried because we need to like kind of go near her to get to where we're trying to go, but we're worried that she's gonna scare the deer in the party meadow.
Yeah.
So we like take our chances. We're like, well, it's gonna get hot, so we should probably get going over to these deer. So we take our chances. She does end up spooking, and then she ends up spooking another buck that we didn't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
But he was gone so fast, like
They didn't blow through
Yeah.
our. They didn't go
they
through
didn't
our
go through
bucks.
where we were trying to get.
Yeah, they didn't spook our bucks.
So we find our little perch and army crawl over to. Well, it wasn't even army crawling because we were so close to them.
We were crawling like snakes.
Yes, we had to be very, very careful. We had to be very, very careful because I think it's really easy for them to spook.
Yep.
And so we're in this little part where, I don't know, somehow my dad sees a bunch of antlers poking up, but I do not see those. So it takes a little time to find them, but they're all bedded down. And I'm lined up on the biggest one because, you know, why'd you take the small one? You can have the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one that I'm not, another Nice one stands up, and I'm not even on him. So I get on him, and I cannot see his shoulder blade because of the glare in the sun.
I want to clarify this point, too.
Okay.
We're talking, I'm saying, now remember where you're going to shoot it. I said you got to see, you see the back of the shoulder and that little crease. So right in that crease, halfway up and down. And when the deer stands up, there's nothing in front of it. But she's saying I can't see its shoulder. So I can't figure out what she must be looking at. Like she sees some other deer. But I realize, tell what you meant when you said you can't see its shoulder.
Like there's a glare in the sun where the whole deer looked like this dark gray color. So I couldn't like see it.
You couldn't see the actual crease.
So I was like, my dad was like, just like try your best. Just think about where you're going to need to shoot it. So I took my best guess and I ended up shooting it in the right place.
We'll tell them what happened to it, what was missing out of it.
It's heart.
Yeah, blew the bottom right off the heart.
Nice.
So yeah, and we waited a little bit, ate some lunch, got over there, and we couldn't find him for about like 5 minutes. And my dad was making me feel very doubtful about finding him. I was like, "Are we gonna find him?" He was like, "I don't know." Like, I don't know.
I was sick. I was just too many. It was too many questions.
Hey, no, but you did say that. You can't deny that.
I did, but I knew it was in there somewhere, but I couldn't figure out where it was. So I was just like, just give me a second, and it was laying right there. There's just a lot of tall sagebrush.
Our friend showed us where, like, he found the deer.
Jeremy Romero.
Yeah, and we all went over there, and he was actually like bigger than we thought he was.
Yeah, I was telling Rosie, normally they get small when you find them. You never find a buck and he's bigger than you thought he was.
Yeah, ground shrinkage.
Yeah, we had ground growage.
Never happens.
He did not look that big from when I was lined up on him, but he's actually like a really nice 3x3.
Yeah, it was a stud.
Yeah.
Great. Now, butchering. What's you guys' take on butchering? Aina, you want to start out? Just your general impressions of butchering.
I personally really love butchering. I find it very satisfying.
You got to get on the
orderly.
mic closer.
Oh, sorry. Very orderly and satisfying to just get it all chopped up and stuff.
You appreciate the orderliness of it.
Yes.
Help me understand what you mean with orderly.
I don't know. It's just very I personally find skinning animals very, very satisfying, which is probably pretty weird. But
do you appreciate that there's like step 1, step 2, step 3? That's orderly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just things you do, and then it just all kind of falls into place for the end result.
Do you enjoy cooking it?
Yeah. Cooking's really fun.
So you like that too?
Yeah.
Have you cooked any meat yet?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
When I'm gone?
Oh yeah.
You guys help out in the kitchen?
Oh yeah. But not when he's here. He's our personal chef when he's home. He can do it all.
Mabel, what'd you think about this? Was this your first butchering job?
Yes. I mean, other than kind of like squirrels. But I do not like butchering even a little bit.
You don't like it?
No. I don't like the smells.
Or getting dirty.
I don't know. It's like if you, once you get blood on your hands, everything sticks to your hands. And
So
then
the
blood in her smell of the stomach, and then
Did you notice that your farts smell like the guts afterwards?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like I had
It's called deja vu.
maybe
It's not true. But it's good,
I don't know. I don't normally try to smell my farts, but I guess
It happens on accident.
I mean, yeah. But I don't like butchering, especially the stomach. And it smells really, really bad.
Well, Rosie likes it when she gets done before she leaves. She needs to cut the stomach open.
Yes.
Which is the boringest stomach in the world. She always thinks there's gonna be something in there, like a mouse or something, but it's just chewed up grass.
Well, I don't think that there's going to be something in there. I just I want to think that there's going to be. Also, Hattie has some stuff to finish off her deer story too.
Oh, we're getting there. Where'd we leave it with your deer story?
After my dad told me to get down from the top of the hill.
Oh, hold on. We didn't finish the getting it, deer?
No.
Okay, Mabel, finish telling us about how you don't like it.
Well,
I didn't realize we missed the end of the deer story. Good job,
You
Rosie.
did.
Thanks for reminding me. You just don't like. You don't want nothing to do with it.
I mean, it's cool because I know that I'm gonna eat it, and it tastes really good when I eat it, of course. But it's never been like the thing, and then when you're carrying it back, like there's just like the juice everywhere. And
like there's just like
this,
deer
like-
juices everywhere you look.
except for the fact, the one thing that I really liked about butchering is I brought up the idea of hot buttered buck nuts
Yep.
and bringing those back to camp,
Yeah.
which was delicious.
That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, I recommend that as you guys get older, you and your sister continue to hunt together because you're going to have a hell of a time with the butchering. But if she likes it,
I
you
love
got,
butchering.
Yeah.
I
You know,
butchered
like-
all of hers.
Yeah, it's like Jack Sprat would eat no fat, his wife would eat no lean.
Yeah.
They'll someday make a poem like that about you and Ina.
Yeah, probably.
You're a good leg holder. You don't
Yeah,
mind doing
I mean,
that.
like, I don't really care, but, like, I don't, like, want to, like, stick my hands in its guts. I don't like that.
Or get your pretty clothes dirty.
Hey, okay, you actually put blood on my pants. It was horrible. Well, yeah.
That's all right. Maybe you'll grow into it. Maybe you won't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's good though. Okay, so Hattie, I'm sorry. We didn't get to I don't know what happened. That was bad hosting. We didn't get to the buck.
It's okay.
Okay, so there we are. Your dad's screaming and yelling at you.
It wasn't like okay, but by the way, sorry Dad for for Steve bringing that up. But after he did that, he told me to get down, and then he started like glassing and trying to find it, and then he said, "Get over here," and then he found it. So he was like, "Take your backpack off and put it in this spot, and carry the tripod." So. And he was like, "We're going to get to the top of that hill, and you're going to army crawl all the way up there." So we did, and then he told me to set up the tripod. So I set up the tripod, and then he was like glassing it, trying to find it from there. And he was like, "We're busted. It sees us." And I was like, "Where is it? I don't see it." And then that went on for probably like 6 minutes of me not being able to find my buck when it was staring right at us.
How far away was it?
Like 100 yards. Not bad.
Okay.
And then I like find it, and then I was watching it for a while, and I didn't see it move, but my dad did, and it moved broadside because it like saw us move, so it was like, "Oh, I'm out of here."
Got it.
So then he went up onto this like hill kind of spot and went broadside, and my dad told me he stood up, and I was like, "Where? I don't see it." And then I found his like white nose, and then went off of that and just moved. And right where I lined up his foot, I found his foot and went up. And right as I got on the top of his shoulder, I shot him. And I thought he like ran forward because that's what my last buck did. He ran forward, but he actually ran backwards and fell into this like ravine.
Yep.
So it took us 10 minutes to find him because he all was like clumped up in like a donut.
Oh.
He was like a donut.
He was hidden away in there.
Yeah, so my dad thought he was a rock for a while until he like took a second look when he went back around and then pulled him out. And I was like, he's a lot smaller than what he looked like in the scope.
Ground shrinkage.
Yeah. And then my dad pulled him to this like shade spot, cut him up. My dad's knife.
Did you help cut him up?
I held the leg. My dad.
Leg holding.
Yeah, but my dad didn't want me to cut myself with his knife because they're really sharp. So he let me cut open like the bladder and like the liver and
Got it.
stuff
Yep.
and look at the heart and all that. So
Do you like the butchering process?
yeah, next year he said I could help him with it.
Cool.
So then I just learned how to do it myself.
Yep. So when you go hunting with your friends, you can be the person that butchers.
Mhm.
Got it. And then what about? Did you carry some in your pack?
Yeah. This time I was actually able to carry a lot because I got an actual backpack. And last year I was using like a school backpack.
Oh my gosh.
And it was an actual backpack. And like this was an actual hunting backpack. And I was able to carry a lot more, which for my dad, he said it felt a lot better on his back. But it was
Having
really
you take some of the weight.
yeah.
Sure.
And then like he put it on my back and I almost fell backwards because I wasn't ready for how heavy it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had to catch me. But then I was fine. And when I took it off, I felt like a feather.
Oh, when you got
When I got back to camp, I felt like a feather.
When I was packing my deer, my neck and shoulders hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Like and we were like a mile out.
So we didn't do your waist belt quite right either.
Yeah, and
so all that weight was on your shoulders.
It hurt.
How many legs did you pack out, Rosie?
I packed out everybody's
She
gear.
carried all the gear and the head, and we carried everything else.
The head was surprisingly heavier than I thought it was going to be.
No.
Well, especially, we packed them out with part of the neck attached so that we could take them in and get them tested. And those heads get real heavy when you're packing them out like that.
You guys, has everybody here done have you guys all did you ever come to do the trivia show?
No.
You never did? Okay, so these guys of Aina, Mabel, and Rosemary, you'll have to come. We're going to do some more soon. If you listen to our kids trivia show, our kids podcast, you guys have met, you listeners have met Aina, Mabel, Rosemary, but you haven't met Hattie. But these guys were all contenders on kids trivia, which is part of our kids trivia podcast. We're going to be, let me pull this up. When we started the kids show, we always said, hey, we got to see how it does when we know we're going to make more. We're going to make more of the kids podcast, season 2 of the kids show. Season 2 of the kids podcast. We're not done with you guys yet. You got more questions.
Okay.
Season 2 of the kids podcast launches Monday, November 25. But here's the deal. It's on its own podcast feed. Before, when we did the kids podcast was always put into the MeatEater podcast feed. It's going to live on its own feed going forward. We'll probably do one, or I don't know, maybe one on the regular feed. I don't know. So November 18.
So to find it, you just search kids trivia?
I'll get to that in a minute. Okay. What is the feed called? That's a good question, Janis. MeatEater Kids Podcast. Good question. If you'd like to listen to this, if you're listening right now on the day this episode dropped, November 18, we just launched the season 2 trailer, and we posted season 1. So we got a season 2 trailer, and also we're moving episodes 1 to 5 over to the kids podcast feed. So now that we're getting serious about the kids podcast, it's going to have its own feed. We're going to move episodes 1 to 5 on that feed and start adding to them. Every week we'll have a new drop of a new kids episode going forward for 5 weeks. It'll run through December 23rd, the day before Christmas. So we're kind of lining it up so when your kids are home for the holidays, whatever, you got the podcast feed. And then the next time we drop more, we'll drop it off maybe the beginning of summer break or however we do it. We also got a new kids podcast t-shirt available in the MeatEater store right now. Now I got a new line of question for each of you. We're going to go back to Aina. And then we'll see what kind of questions Corey might have some questions, because as a person who's got kids coming up, he might have some questions. But here's my question for Aina. What is the one piece of advice you would give to moms or dads, whoever, taking kids out for their first hunts?
I would probably just say make it fun.
Okay.
Like, don't try to push too much.
What?
It's good when you have it, like when you have the capability to be pushed. But if you're taking like a 9-year-old out and they're just hunting with you or something, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so tired," and if they're like younger than kids who are like us, we can be pushed, we're old enough to be pushed, but it gets like unfun where then you're like, "Oh, I don't want to go hunting because I know it's gonna get so hard that it's not gonna be fun anymore."
That's fine. I asked you. I don't agree. I don't agree. But that's your opinion. I asked you for your opinion. There you have it. I bet you got pushed.
Oh yeah, but it makes you a better person and a better hunter.
But your piece of advice is don't push.
Did you really get pushed a lot?
Yes.
She just gave him a look. One day we had it where Aina was going to hunt with a different. Aina and Mabel were going to split up. Aina was going to hunt with someone different. She wanted to know if they walked faster than her dad. And she was glad to hear that they did not walk faster.
Long enough legs where I can keep up with him, but if you go faster than him, I'm gonna be left in the dust.
But he's one of the faster walkers I hang out with.
Oh yeah.
So you're training at top level.
Yes.
Mabel, piece of advice for moms, dads taking kids hunting.
I mean, honestly, make sure that, not that I don't want to go hunting. I love hunting, but, make sure your kid, really, really wants to go, because if they don't want to go and then you think that they do and then you push them to go, every single time, then they're going to not want to hunt at all.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, that happened with like my cousin. Like his
Oh,
dad
you know if people
had
this is-
him
yeah.
duck hunt like all the time, and he didn't like it because of I think the cold. But then like now he doesn't like doing it at all because he was like pushed to do it too much. I mean, I love hunting. I love that my dad pushes me because otherwise I probably wouldn't do it. And I'd like in the morning when he wakes me up, I'd be like, I don't want to go. But that because he pushes me, like he like makes me like want to go, and then I realize like how fun it is when I'm out there. But like make sure they do have interest in it because otherwise they'll just like be pushed onto it all the time, and then they don't want to do it at all.
That's something I'm really paranoid about is overdoing it, over pushing them.
I disagree with Mabel
an
and
age.
Aina.
Oh, whoa.
I disagree. That's your opinion. I'm glad you have it. I just don't think it's true.
Well, you've had good luck.
Yeah.
Well, it's still early, but with your 3 kids, they've accepted the pushing very well. But in my universe, I just know too many that pushed and it wound up not working out.
Really?
Yeah, and it's sad.
Because I feel, just plug your ears, Rosie.
No.
I'm not like at a certain age. I'm not interested. I'm not terribly interested in what they want to do. No, I mean
I
it's
hear
true. We'll say we're gonna go camping this weekend. Inevitably, there's gonna be some. Oh, I can't. I didn't want to. I was supposed to. I was gonna. Right? We're like, it's just. We don't. Neither of us cares. Speak me and my wife. Like neither of us cares. We're going camping this weekend. Go camping. Come home. Everybody had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to leave. So much fun. They're exhausted from physical activity, right? And if we had said like, to little kids, do you want to go camping? And like, oh no, because I was gonna go to Billy's house, and be like, okay, I guess we'll cancel that plan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, if I were to ask my kid, what do you want to do this weekend? He'll say, I don't know, eat Fun Dip and stare at my tablet.
Yeah, exactly. So
No, we're not doing that.
yeah, we just haven't. I know it changes later, but early on, we kind of like we made a plan, and that was the plan, and
You're able to mold them still.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a point at which I agree. I'm sure it's true, and there's a point at which I agree, but I think that I see people too often. I don't know, like cave. It's hard to get everybody out the door.
Agree with that.
It's hard to get everybody out the door. It's a lot of clothes. It's a lot of gear. It's a lot of complaining. You got to have you got to be like the force of a tornado, and just be like, dude, we're going. We're getting the stuff. Maybe it's not perfect, but we're going to get enough stuff packed and we're going at a point.
Yeah. No, I think it's a balance, right? Because that, depending on what scale you're using, what you're describing might only be a 3 in someone's version of how much you pushed or didn't push, right? But maybe you escalate that to a 7, and then all of a sudden they're just like, you know what? Really, I'm done camping, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
we're not
it
like
just-
dragging them out.
Yeah.
We're not like dragging them out in a fight and loading them in the car.
Yeah.
You know?
And they're like, you're like, hey, kids, you ever heard of winter camping? It's -10. It's still almost as fun, but cold.
Yeah, I got you. Hattie, advice, and I might disagree with you.
Well,
What advice you have for moms and dads who want to take the kids out hunting from a kid's perspective, a seasoned kid?
okay. If your kid wants to take a break, just take like a 5-minute break and let them, I don't know, catch themselves instead of just saying, no, we're going to hike 1 mile and then you can take a
I
break.
can already tell he's going to disagree with you, too.
And also bring more food than you think you will.
That I agree with.
I agree with everything you just said.
I agree
Yes.
with that. I don't think, and I'm speaking to kids generally, I don't think kids have a great sense of when it's time to take a break.
Well, also,
they always
we're
want
not
to.
But when you
people
need
who've
breaks,
been
you
doing
need
this their
breaks.
whole entire. Okay, I guess I've been hiking for my whole life, but you're like 50 years old.
I'm on the downward slide.
Yeah, but think about this. You've been doing this your whole entire livingness of 50 years. So it's different when you're like a little kid.
No,
versus
you guys
an
want
old
to take
man.
breaks in the dumbest places. We'll be down in some little ditch bottom where you can't see a single thing. Let's have a break. I'm like, let's have a break when we're up looking at fresh ground.
That's true.
Yep.
Not true.
Don't
so I'll
cave
be like-
too much, but also don't push too much. There's a
I'll be
difference.
like, we can have a break. See that spot up there? When we get to
Yes.
that spot, we're going to nestle in and we'll have a break.
Yeah, that's
And
what
then
mine
that
does.
I
spot.
understand
Your
that.
dad likes to take breaks in the right
gives
spot.
us
No,
like
that
he gives us
spot
like all
that
right,
you're
we're gonna
talking
go
about-
out there and then we can take a break.
That certain spot that you see is like 5 miles away, and you're like, oh, we're almost there. No, we're not. We're not almost there.
Yeah, you kids, and the other thing that's happened with you kids, you'll appreciate this someday. They've trained you. Like, this whole thing with you guys in water is out of control.
Well, how about we save that for what my advice is? 'Cause
Yeah.
I would like to talk
Save
about
it
that.
for Rosie.
Listen, there's
Water?
Wait, Dad,
When
can
I
I
was
give
a
my
kid,
advice?
no kid had, I mean, just think about it. It sounds like a Rodney Dangerfield thing, but like, when I was a kid, no kid had a water bottle.
No, Dad,
yeah.
we gotta save this for when I'm talking about like advice.
Okay, all right. But I'll get to your advice in 1 second.
All right.
I want to go back to this. The food
Okay.
thing, I think, is I agree 100%. I agree with breaks, but I think you guys don't have a well-timed sense of when to take them. The food thing, you're exactly right. Put way more food in your pack than you would ever think anyone could possibly eat, and of a greater variety. Right? You guys hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge variety, huge quantity.
But don't worry about the water.
I think about like the kid thing where the kids have like a bad sense of when to take a break. It's like, but if we get up to a good spot where we could take a break and it'd be like a good spot, then my dad is like, oh, let's take a break, instead of me saying I want to take a break here. It's like we only like take breaks
If we want
down
to,
at the
if we
bad
want to.
parts because we like are tired down there for like some odd, really bad reason.
And he wants to take a break when you
Yeah.
don't even feel like taking a break.
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like yeah, like when we're in a good spot to take a break, like I would say take a break, but my dad's like, he like knows when we're like about to say let's take a break, and then he's like, all right, well, like you see that perfect spot up there, we'll take a break up there before us saying it. So it's like, yeah.
Got it.
So we're
he
not.
He preempts you.
Yeah.
I agree with your they don't choose the right time to take a break. Like you'll be in the middle of a ravine and they'll want to take a break. But I feel like it's also depending on your age. Like you could be like 15 years old and know when to take a break because you've been hunting for like 5 years.
Yeah.
So you'd understand like a sense of when to. But like when it's like 6:30 in the morning and you're hiking up this gigantic hill when it's pitch dark out, you don't really know where you are, and it's 6:30 in the morning, so you'd want to take a break.
But everybody else knows you got to get somewhere.
Yeah, but
I'm not opposed to breaks because the best part of my youth hunt this season, I was with Rosie and her little brother Matthew, and we got to be noon, and we were just staying out. We weren't going back. We're just, everybody had the plan to stay out and hunt all day till dark. So it was noon, and Rosie laid on my left shoulder, and Maddie laid on my right shoulder, and they fell asleep, and they didn't wake up till 2. And I'm used to taking I'll take a power nap with the best of them, but I'm not used to the 2-hour power nap. But that was very relaxing for me.
No, it was
was a great
almost
trip.
3 hours because we
Almost
went to bed
3
at
hour
like
power.
11:30
Yeah.
and then woke up at like 2. So
Yep. And we had a magic secret bullet in our packs. We brought a couple mini cans of pop soda. So
I did too.
So after nap time, you could bust out one of them cans of pop, and that just get you ready to rock. All right, Rose, what's your Rosemary? Hit me with your advice to moms and dads taking their kids hunting. Then we're gonna see what Corey's gonna have some questions for you guys. I'm guessing because he's got a kid coming up.
all right. So just like what Aina said, like make it fun. Like I know this ruined my chance to get a big deer, but maybe like do a little like not taking like a break, like sitting down and resting. Like maybe going and just like looking for like bugs or something. Like anything like fun to get their minds off of like hiking for a little bit. And then also, my dad definitely disagrees with this, but drink water. He I mean, I don't even see him drinking water anymore, and yet he's almost against it.
Well,
I
you've
think.
been to where he grew up, right?
Yeah, it's
You've
a
been
Midwest
there,
thing.
right?
All water.
Yeah, it's all water and it's flat. And so it's not anywhere near the same thing as to where you're growing up and why you had required, to be packing around water and drinking water. Because he literally just like...
You're up to your knees in water.
He just diverted and then he would just scoop his hand up into the lake and drink.
I know, but like if I go to school and I'm like, I'm going to get a water bottle. He's like, hey, you don't need a water bottle. You're fine. Back in my day, in the 50s, we didn't have water bottles.
My kid's got like 10 water bottles.
Oh.
It's insane.
No, whoever had the idea that
it improves cognitive function to be hydrated. It's very, very good for you.
Yes, being hydrated actually helps you live. So if
Probably
you're taking
helps
your
you kill
kids out,
bucks.
if you're taking your kids out, make sure you bring lots of water, lots of food, and just like take like not breaks like sitting down breaks, but like breaks to just get your mind off of like hiking and then get back to it. And I almost think that your kids will do a lot better if they've had like a little mind refresh.
One time, Aina packed a school bag full of, I don't know what kind of books and puzzles and games and coloring pencils. And we went down into a ravine under a shade tree where you couldn't see more than 10 yards any direction. And we spent an hour there just coloring. And then we climbed out of there, and lo and behold, there was some pronghorn up on the flat that we were about to hunt. So the timing was perfect.
Can I add something to my advice?
Please.
Because I feel like the pushing, it's really good because, like, you don't love hiking when you're 6, 5, like 9 years old. It's not the best thing in the world.
Maybe even 10 or 12.
Yeah. But it makes you, like, a better hunter. I mean, obviously, it makes you, like, it pushes you for, like, everything in life. But then also, it makes sometimes it not fun. So taking the correct breaks, like, not too many because then it's, like, obviously you're caving in is, like, a... Not like just letting your child do whatever they want, but then not pushing so hard where it's like, I never want to come out here and do this ever again.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this idea?
Wait, I got one thing to add.
Go ahead.
So somebody very wise told me this. She is a very athletic woman. She is our family friend, and I was running the rut with her, and we were like, me and my friend were like, this is not fun. We were like so tired, and she's like, it's secondary fun. So when you are out hiking, it may not be fun in the moment, but later you're like, that was really fun. I did really cool stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
And you'll like the fact that you just pushed yourself really hard and you just did a bunch of exercise.
Yeah, like you went all that way and, you're not thinking about it because you're like, oh my gosh, my legs hurt. But then when you get back to camp, you're like, oh yeah, I walked like 4 miles or something.
And then you're like
maybe
proud
not
of
4
yourself
miles, but
because
like,
you got pushed, you pushed yourself, and you're like, it's like secondary fun.
Even though you hated it in the moment.
Let me hit you guys with an idea.
All right.
What if a parent was thinking to themselves, well, I'm going to go for broke. I'm going to either have a kid that's obsessed with hunting and fishing, or I'm going to burn them out and they never want to go again. And you're like, I don't care about the middle ground. So I'm going to push as hard as I can push. I might get a diehard hunter and angler, or I might get someone who never wants to go again. I know I won't land in the middle. Is that a good approach or a bad approach? And just push it hard.
Bad.
That's bad.
I'm listening to them.
All right.
What, I want to know, like, what's the favorite part about hunting in general? You guys can look back at our recent trip and say, oh, this was the real highlight and this is why I like doing this trip and going again, or just generally why you guys like to go out hunting.
Well, I feel like when I'm hunting, I've always like been, I guess, like pushed to go do things, but like not in a bad way. Like my dad gives me the option. Like if I say I don't want to go, he's not gonna, sometimes he's not gonna force me to go. But I feel like what I really like about hunting is that even if it's like a little sad that like killing things, but like in the end you're like feeding your family and it's just like really rewarding.
Yes, I agree with that a lot.
Yeah. It's like it's rewarding to like your like I guess emotional state, like your ego that like I went out and I killed an animal and I'm like feeding the people, like I guess my family, and then I like hiked all this way and I like carried meat and I like did all the steps and now I'm happy that I did it all. and it's like just nice to think about, I guess.
What I think about is that you're spending time with like your parent that went with you. Like I went with my dad, and I liked spending time with him and killing an animal with him, and like being able to feed my family also while spending time and having like and creating memories.
It's great.
Also, just like being in the outdoors with like when you go back to camp, you're not gonna go on your phone. You're not gonna do this. Like you're just gonna be in the moment more of and thinking about what you're doing then and not like what's gonna happen or what you did. And you just kind of get to be in the moment of I'm in the outdoors right now. I get to spend time with my family. I get to put food on the table. I get to push myself to be like a better person and like a stronger hunter and a better hunter. And just there's so many like positives I feel like to hunting, especially after you've done the hunt itself.
Oh, great. Thank you. Corey, you got more questions, man?
Well, I had maybe some more technical gear questions.
Oh, that's
Okay.
great. That's a great subject.
Obviously, you can't kill a deer with mined bullets, so I'm curious what caliber you guys are all using.
6.5 Creedmoor.
Same.
Okay. And maybe those SIG crosses that have like the nice foldable stock.
Yeah.
Easier to carry around.
Hattie, you're shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think so,
Not
yeah.
sure. It's
It's a Creedmoor something.
Yeah, it's 6.5 Creedmoor.
Oh, wait. I have one more piece of advice, too. Tell your kids not to be afraid to shoot a gun because of the recoil. Because most of the time when you're hunting as a little kid, you're not going to get a big, heavy-duty gun that's going to blow your shoulder off.
Yep.
Like...
Well, most
I
of you kids
was-
also shoot suppressed rifles.
Yeah, I was really scared, like, for my turkeys. Not necessarily for my deer this year. I was last year, but, like, it's always the kick that I just get scared about. I'm just scared that's going to, like, hurt my shoulder. But I think you should just tell your kids that, like, would you rather be scared to pull a trigger because you're worried your shoulder's going to get a little bruise on it? Or, like, shoot an animal, you know? Like... Just tell them to like that it's like okay and that it doesn't actually hurt, and then maybe
tell
like
them to buck up.
maybe like, Dad, maybe like do it and show them that it doesn't actually hurt. Like like pull it once on you and say that like it doesn't hurt. Like I'm okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or don't bring as the first thing as in like, oh, here's a gun, go shoot it. But make sure, but like watch out, it's got a bunch of recoil. Be like, oh, here's a gun, like I hope you have fun.
That's something
Don't
my
put
older
it in your head.
that's
Yeah,
something my older
that
brother
definitely got
would
in my
always
head.
do to me. He'd be like, "Oh, Rosie, that gun's got a lot of kick," and I was
Well, because he was jealous.
I know, but I was always scared of the kick anyway. And he'd be like, that gun's got a lot of kick. I'd be like,
Well, I think that could be an example of pushing too hard, right? There is some minimum amount of caliber gauge that you have to use to kill these animals. And some kids at the age of 10, maybe because of their personality or body structure size, like they just are not going to be able to handle even a 410 or a, really light, 6 millimeter or whatever. So you're just going to have to wait and be patient.
And the mental
I'll give you
pushing
some
of like
technical-
pulling a trigger and shooting something. That is like a big mental, like I'm going to take this animal's life with like, I'm going to do it myself. And the mental of like, don't push it too hard is in like you have to like do this right now. Cause if they like need a wait, if they need to think about that, that's the thing that you have to kind of overcome in your mind.
Corey, I'm going to give you a couple. You want a technical gear advice? Let me give you some technical gear advice. Earplugs, headset, if possible, suppressed.
something I was not provided
But no
with.
matter
I was not provided with
field, no,
earplugs.
I'm not talking about hunting. Field shooting, practicing.
I lost my
practicing.
earplugs.
Cram their ear full of earplugs.
Cram it.
Put earmuffs over the earplugs. Put a couple layers on, not a t-shirt.
Help pad.
Heavy rifle, heavy bipod. If you can afford it and get it and do all that to get a suppressor, put a suppressor on it, and just deaden everything down, because I feel that they conflate the noise and the recoil into a sort of package of badness.
Sure.
And doing that double ear protection and just sort of deadening the noise, I think that you could have the same exact recoil and remove a bunch of the noise, and in their mind it's just a much more pleasurable experience, because I think that they're registering the loudness and the kick into just a generally unpleasant experience.
And
So by shooting like heavy bipod, heavy gun, laying down, jackets on, we had very good luck. To the point where I would tell people that we'd go through this 2 years in a row. When she finally shot her rifle, she would be worked up about it. She'd shoot a rifle and she would laugh.
What?
Because you would giggle because you had in your head that it was going to be so miserable, and then you shoot, you're like, oh, that was fun. Because we did all those steps, right?
Yep. Well, my kid just graduated from his Red Ryder BB gun to a 22. So we've done some squirrel hunting this year. What should I do next? Like 6.5 seems a bit much, but
Well, let's not jump away from the squirrel hunting. I think someone else was talking to me about squirrel hunting recently, and I was saying, yeah, I think that's the reason my girls are the hunters that they are today and the marksmen that they are today is because of the time that we spent in the squirrel woods. Familiarizing themselves with the 22, shooting a 22, hunting a hard-to-kill animal. And whoever I was talking to was like, oh, I thought you guys just did it because it was fun and you like to eat them. I'm like, well, it is. But, like, I don't know. Would you girls agree? Like, you guys got a lot of fair amount of practice on those squirrels. When it came to switching to a deer, did it seem like it was easier?
Yeah, it was definitely
You'd
easier.
already
been there.
Yeah, because squirrels are hard. They're tiny
They're
and they
so
run around.
hard to like find. And I was like very happy when I could get squirrels on my own. That was like a really big achievement for me, just to be able to like go out and like you trusting me to do that on my own, and like go out and like set up on a squirrel and shoot it, and then have it like fall down from the tree and you hear it hit the ground.
Oh.
That is a satisfying sound.
I just thought of like another tip for like the people going hunting with their kids soon, like who are coming of age to it. Like with the kick, if you're like practicing in like a field and you don't know if they're flinching or not from like the kick it gives, act like you're putting it around, but don't.
Oh, yeah.
So then they
That's a
dry
classic.
fire and
Yeah.
just watch them, because then you'll know if they're actually flinching or not.
Good point.
That's a great idea.
It's not good to close your eyes before you shoot and be like,
Also that too. But remind them that, so every time I've shot my deer, the adrenaline rush, I never remember having a kick on my gun
Oh yeah,
when I
get
shoot a
that.
deer. So like remind them that they're most likely not going to feel the kick when they're actually shooting it.
You don't even think about that
Those are
part
great
of it.
tips.
Yep.
I know I've said like a lot about this certain thing, but I have one more
water?
tip.
Water?
Yeah, I would like to talk about water later, and your you not liking water. But
Okay, go on.
anyway, what I was about to say was that another tip for, well, in my case, my mom, if this is just in my case, like if you're a dad and you take your kid out hunting, make sure they're wearing ear protection, because in my case, my mom got very, very upset that I was not wearing ear protection and had pretty much like a whole speech about people losing their hearing and how my dad's ears are so bad to this day because he doesn't use hearing protection. And when I got my deer, my ears really, really started to ring.
That's not true because it was a suppressed rifle.
Your
Okay.
gun
Suppressed.
sounds
My
like a
ears still,
bomb.
I could not hear. Truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, my ears actually hurt. Like, they hurt. So make sure you bring ear protection and always have it ready.
Well, in all fairness, the suppressor she was using is one of those suppressors meant for ARs.
Oh, yeah.
So it just doesn't
So it
work?
doesn't get too much blowback. It's like a suppressor light. Yeah.
So it like amplifies the sound even more.
No, it just kind of doesn't. It's not like a full like suppressed.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
a
what
little.
it sounds
it's a
like.
Itsy bitsy suppressed. Yeah, I didn't really appreciate that you ran home and told your mom about that. To be honest with you, I get in all kind of trouble all the time. I don't need you adding to it, buddy.
Well, it was part of my story. How afterward my ears really hurt.
Anything else, Corey, they can help you with? This panel of experts.
Well, food is extremely important. So favorite snack.
Oh, and water.
Sweet.
Water's important too, Dad. Water's very important.
Something sweet.
Oh yeah.
Like
Candy.
what? Halloween candy?
Candy.
That's easy.
Yeah.
But, like getting like bars that are sweet but also have good like nutrition. Whoa.
Dad, what are
And
those bars
protein
that you
like
buy?
that you can like put it together.
sec.
Like
I'll tell you.
Snickers are good because they've got like the nuts in them.
My
and stuff
dad
that they like
uses-
actually want to eat because like there's some of the like bars that he brings. I'm like, I will not ever eat that in my entire life.
He's got some junk bars.
Yeah.
He's got some
members, like,
bad bars. Yeah.
My dad uses the best bars for hunting. They taste
It's
good.
a Nature Valley wafer.
They
yes.
taste good and they
Oh,
have
yeah.
protein in them because they've got like peanut butter. They taste so good.
That's a kid-friendly bar.
I usually eat those for like lunch and
Same.
breakfast when I'm
Bring
That's a kid-friendly bar. High-protein wafer bar. Mabel, hot tip for on food?
Well, like if normally a lot of like most of the hunting trips the day hunting trips I go on, there's like the sandwiches and stuff. Make sure that you like before just making them a sandwich, like make sure you know that they like the sandwich and you could like send it to school with them because like I've made a sandwich for myself and I put like a bratwurst in it or something and I did not like that. It was like the juice of the bratwurst got all over the bun
Okay.
and it did not work. So like
So just to be clear,
yeah.
you're saying don't just make them a sandwich. Work
Test
with
it.
them to find a sandwich they like and then test that they actually like that sandwich.
yeah.
Yes.
Then pack that workshopped, approved sandwich.
Because you do not want to
Yeah.
go out and have a
Understood.
sandwich that you don't
Sounds
want
like pretty normal parenting, really.
Well,
Understood. Don't be packing some nasty sandwich
yeah.
that
Yeah.
no one wants to eat and
Make
no one's ever
sure-
tested.
Yeah, not to bring like juicy meat in the sandwich because then it gets all soggy and that's gross.
Yeah.
Totally understood, man. That's great. That's great. So you getting that, Corey?
I'm writing it all down right here.
Okay, Hattie, favorite snack?
So this happens a lot because I hear it at like when I was in elementary school. I heard like little kids complaining about their throats hurting after running or stuff like that
Okay.
because like they didn't drink water
Oh,
and their
Yeah, Dad.
mouth is dry. Bring Jolly Ranchers because your kids can catch colds, and a lot of kids like me, I don't like certain cough drops for some reason. They're like
Okay.
too strong, and Jolly Ranchers will help so much.
Jolly
'Cause, like,
Ranchers.
brought to you
like
by
you
your
like-
friends at Jolly Ranchers.
So like you like
Yeah.
suck on it, and all like the saliva in your mouth will
Sure.
like help it. It does like the same thing as Jolly Rancher, just doesn't have like all the
Yeah,
medicine
like
in
a
it.
green apple Jolly Rancher
no, blue
gets
ones, the
everything
blue
working.
ones.
No, blue
The
raspberry.
blue ones
eat blue
and the red ones.
raspberries.
Those are the best ones.
Blue
Blue
raspberry?
raspberry, cherry, and watermelon.
Yeah, all right. That's a good tip. Rose, best snack. The dried salmon.
That is very okay. Yes, probably that for one of them because dried salmon jerky. I was very, very tired and my head hurt. I did not feel good, and I was just munching on that salmon jerky, and it practically made me like walk. It felt like I was like in a dream. Like I was just like walking along because I was just munching on my salmon jerky.
The effects.
Gave you something
Jerky
to
and
do.
dip
Yeah,
are
that-
really
Wonder if
good.
that headache had anything to do with your dehydration.
Like probably
likely.
did have something to do with my. But I had my own pack this year that my dad got me, and I could put.
All the water you can drink in there.
Exactly.
All the
And-
water you've ever wanted.
So I fed you the line about the salmon jerky, but what if you had to pack your own snacks? Like, what's your favorite?
Well, I really do like protein bars, but every time I open one, my dad's like, "Make sure you eat all that," because he thinks that like he thinks that I'm gonna open it and then it's gonna be like really disgusting. But protein bars, I feel like the good protein bars, like the wafer, Nature Valley wafer.
Chocolate wafer.
Yeah, those really good. And Reese's.
Yes.
Peanut
Make
butter.
sure you
Okay.
bring Reese's.
Got it.
Copy.
Sugar and calories.
Along with like the jerky thing,
Mm-hmm.
like I like being able to like have like a big piece of jerky and just like chewing on it while I walk
Sure.
because I can just like walk and kind of think that I'm like restoring energy because I'm eating, but then it's like chewy, so I'm like doing something and not thinking about just like my legs hurt and wow, this is really annoying and painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, you guys brought me a lot of happiness this year. Made me super proud to hang out with you guys. It was fun to camp with you guys. It was fun to watch how hard everybody worked. You guys got up way before it got light out. You were coming back way after it got dark. Hiked good. Everybody shot good. You guys are fun to have in camp. You help out. You got along good.
A lot of dish cleaning. Everybody helped out.
You guys
with.
would go down and wash and clean dishes.
Except for the
hours.
boys.
Jimmy, the
Jimmy
girls
and
did
Hayden.
all of that.
And he's not
didn't
listening.
put
If
any
Jimmy was
part
here,
into
I
it.
wouldn't include him in this compliment.
Good.
I'm talking
you.
to the people in the room.
Okay, good.
They would
You need to
throw
play this
dishes
every
at us
morning.
when we were like
Yeah,
in the
we would
river.
be-
Listen, man, I'm just talking to the ladies right now. Okay, I'm not. None of the boys.
The ladies.
None of the boys are here. Okay, I'm talking to the ladies from my hunting partner ladies. You guys did a fantastic job. Made me very proud. What happened?
Nothing. Roger.
Hot buttered buck nuts.
Yes, we need to talk about the hot buttered buck nuts. Can we please talk about the hot buttered buck nuts?
You mentioned, but I want to keep complimenting you for one more second. I'm
Alrighty.
serious. You guys made me very, very happy to be to go hunt with you guys. It's an honor. And when I'm an old man dying, and someone asks me, listen, and someone says like, what was all the hunting you did? What was the best, funnest time? I already know what I'll say. 'Cause there's no way it's going to get any better. Is hunting youth deer season, and what makes it so special is you guys coming along. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
So now
Thanks
you
for
can talk
taking
about
us.
you can talk about the hot buttered buck nuts now, and then we're going to wrap it up. Now, you guys got to go back to school.
No thanks.
Well, no, before Hot Butter Buck Nuts,
Oh.
I had something to add too. You had that moment when you were taking a nap, your kids nap twice as long on your chest there. But I think it was the last night we were in camp. You'd already been in your tent for an hour, it seemed like. Like Steve was in bed at 8:30. And the rest of the adults at like 9:30 were like, all right, we've had enough. We're going to bed. All of the kids are up. And I can, from my tent, I can hear them. There's no lights on. They're in this cottonwood grove. And there's no lights on. And all the adults are in their tents, like laying there. And I can just hear, I can't tell what they're talking about, but it's just chatter. And I'm just thinking, man, how great. Our kids are just hanging out in the dark, in the middle of Montana somewhere. They're safe. There's no screens. There's no phones. They're enjoying themselves. They're comfortable where they are in their surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
What could be better?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just say during that whole experience, me and Mabel went and got ready for bed, but Jimmy and Hayden took the biggest sticks they could
You
find.
weren't there, but
No, I know, but I heard it.
He got a huge log, taller than him,
It
and picked it up behind his back.
And they started sword fighting.
And they started sword fighting, and then almost slapped Jimmy in the head.
That's why those guys aren't invited. Those guys aren't here. We didn't let those knuckleheads come down here.
And what you heard was probably, well, me and Mabel, like I said, we eventually left, but we were all playing a game that Jimmy made called Scream that got a little boring. It's like where Jimmy and Hayden, which is them every time, it's supposed to be like different people, but it's not. Jimmy made it up. They go into the woods, and the rest of the people try to go find them. And if you scream, you have to join the people who are trying to scare you. It's very fun. It can get boring at points when you're not in the right surroundings to do it.
Got it. All right, let's touch on the hot buttered buck nuts.
Yes.
Mabel and Aina, go ahead, because you're the ones that brought them back to camp.
Hot butter buck nuts.
There's the jingle.
Wow.
Okay.
It's better than any of mine.
Yeah.
So, when we were cutting open the deer, butchering, we obviously we had him upside down, and the buck nuts were right there because you cut them off and stuff. So the buck nuts had been thrown in the same direction, and I walked by and I was like, "Hey, Papa." Well, they had been, I think one of Ina's had been thrown
On my
off
deer
to the
guts, just
bushes,
kinda on my stuff.
and then we were cutting open mine, we were starting, where you start butchering, and I was like, oh, can we eat buck nuts? I started it with something like that, or can buck nuts be taken and eaten and stuff? And my dad, he was like, oh yeah, and then we started talking about buck nuts, obviously. And yeah, we just started it, and then I had never heard of from Hattie the sign of sex thing, but I guess we brought them back, and
Evidence of sex.
yeah.
Yep.
But we just I had just said oh, can we like eat those? And then my dad was like, oh yeah. So then we were like talking about them. So I just like put them in a bag, and then I put them in my backpack, and then we like brought them back and we cut them up and we ate them.
There you go.
So
Yeah, and then we made a little jingle to it, which is also on Instagram that you can check out. But then after that, we had already eaten ours. Me and Hattie both spit ours out because we weren't enjoying them very much. And Hattie was like, I want to make a funny little video on my phone. Rosie, grab another bucknut. We're eating more. So that happened. We ate them. They were interesting.
I had a couple comments saying that if we peel them even farther, they'll be even better somehow, and you won't get that sort of tightness that you're worried about that sort of generates the explosion.
Oh, taking the next layer of skin off?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, neither. But I think next time I do them, I am going to pre-slice and do like a breading, pan fry.
Like
That sounds like a lot
oyster.
better.
Rocky
yeah,
Mountain
y'all
oyster.
should all bring your bucknuts bag
I
next
used to
time.
go to this thing every year called the Testicle Festival, and it'd be like a big party.
Wow, I want to go to that.
They just fry up all these steer nuts, and it'd be a big old deal.
Oh my gosh.
All right, gals. Thanks for coming down to the show.
Thanks for having
Everybody,
us on
no
the
one's
show.
aging out, right? You got another year?
Oh yeah.
2 more years.
I thought I
Something
went
like
till
that.
you were 16.
No, you 15's your last year.
Okay, 15.
Yeah.
So
2 more years.
We're not losing anyone. We're not losing any hunters. Everybody's still in.
I'll still come even if I'm not hunting.
I don't know if you guys remember, we had to retire one of our guys.
Oh, Harrison.
Hattie's brother Harrison aged out.
If we have another 4-day, he could come during general.
Hattie's brother Harrison aged out, but we got a lot coming up. I got one kid, not even old enough, and I said one day if I was saying one day if there was a youth elk season, I'd still be having kids. But someday when my 9-year-old hits to be 15, I'm going to adopt.
just so you can hunt youth
I'm going to
season.
adopt a 9-year-old.
You could just take out friends' kids too. Might be easier.
That might be less expensive too. All right, girls. Thanks so much for coming down. You guys,
Thanks for
you going
having
back
us.
to school?
Yep.
Yeah.
You two are going back. You two are going back to school. Okay. All right, let's go get educated. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
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 Damn elk anywhere on this godforsaken mountain.